Hi, welcome to Make Love Great Again. You are J. Steven Svoboda. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Great. And you are the founder and executive director of Attorneys for the Rights of the Child. So why don't you just give a little more of an introduction there for the people that don't know you, and then I'm going to go ahead and ask you some questions.
Sure, thank you. We met in London at this conference where I was talking about my organization. So for 22 years, I've been working with my organization to try to educate people that you don't need to circumcise your children. People know you don't need to do it to the females, and you also don't need to do it to the males. And so we've been working on that, trying to educate people. I went to the United Nations, and we're working with the UN again right now. We just submitted a report to them, and we put out a newsletter. We've been involved in lawsuits. I've published a couple hundred book reviews. My next one is going to be of your book, which we'll talk about in a minute. Mm-hmm. And so we've had a pretty wide range of activities. We published a list of all the cases that have been decided. There have been a lot of them that have been decided in favor of the person who was circumcised. And so, yeah, it's a little bit of an odd issue, but we think it's important to get the word out. That males also deserve to make a decision about their own bodies when they become adults.
Yes. So, yeah, we met at the conference, and I really enjoyed talking to you. I found that we had a lot of similar views, and I also gave you a copy of my book. And what I was fascinated with was I came in maybe the second half of the video of the circumcision, male circumcision. And I have 4 brothers, and I'm sad to say that they were all circumcised. Sorry, 4 brothers. I don't mean to put you on blast. Embarrassing for them. But yes, they were all circumcised because that was just, it's like the thing to do. You know, most of the time when you're in a hospital, you give birth, you get circumcised when you have, or your son gets circumcised if they're a boy in America, and you don't really think about it. It's just like kind of what you do. But after watching the video and after seeing your talk about it, I was so moved by it and really saddened by it because we don't even really think about it. Why are we practicing this very barbaric custom of genital mutilation, which that really is? And there's no real health benefits to it, right? There's no real reason for us to do this, but it is quite barbaric when you really think about it and when you really look into it and research more.
I agree with everything you said, and no, there was no health reason for it. There have been some claims, but nothing that stands up to scrutiny, as the Europeans, who are more objective than we are, have agreed. And I think it's a complicated issue, which is what makes it interesting. I mean, religion plays in a way because people who are adherents of Islam or Judaism, it's believed that it needs to happen to children, which I believe is incorrect because the child hasn't yet chosen their religion, and they have the right to make that decision. And quite likely, upon reaching age 18, they will decide they want to be circumcised because that's what their religion does. But that's their decision to make, and the United Nations agrees on that, and also our laws agree on that. So, I mean, I think Judaism is a great religion, and I have had close exposure to it, and I don't know quite as much from personal experience about Islam, but Islam I know is one of the most popular religions, if not the most popular one in the world, and that doesn't give you the right to do something to another person without their consent.
Right.
Now, it's true that the parents sometimes agree to it, but the child never consents to it when it's somebody below the age of consent by definition. So, yeah, we just want people to have the ability to make their own decisions, and it's just how you put it. I mean, it's a simple issue. It can seem murky and complicated once you start getting at all these issues, and of course people don't want to offend anyone, and I don't want to either, and yet at the same time you've got these children, whether you be Jewish or Islamic or not, I mean, whether your parents are Jewish or Islamic or not. And I've had activists and non-activists who are of Jewish or Islamic heritage, and they come to me and they say, well, it would be anti-Semitic, it would be anti-Islamic to not protect children of Islamic or Jewish parents from circumcision. And I see their point. I do see their point.
It's strange to me because, like, I don't understand the benefits at all, really. I mean, it is pretty barbaric when you watch the video. I was, like, kind of traumatized by it. What are their reasons for doing it? And they're also a lot more deaths than they report through circumcision. I mean, we kind of think, oh, it's just painless. You know, they have anesthetic and everything. It's painless. But it's the most sensitive area of a man's body. It's not really painless.
Right. So there's a study that just came out by Brian Earp and others about the death question. And we now, thanks to this new study, we have better information. And the funny thing about it is, and it's not funny, but the odd thing about it is that it's hard to get specific information on this practice, and that's another odd thing about it. But anyway, as best we can determine, the number of deaths per year in the U.S. attributable to circumcision is in the high 2 digits. So it's not 0, it's not 1,000, but every one of those 70 or 80 or 60 boys who die needlessly. And if you're a parent of one of those 60 or 70 or 80 kids, as I can say, being a parent of a boy and a girl myself, you don't care about the statistics. Your child is dead. And what's so tragic about it is they're dead completely needlessly. There is no medical benefit they are getting. And even if you believe these myths about HIV and other things, no baby who's 1 day old has sex. I mean, they can wait till they're 18 and get circumcised then to protect against HIV and other things. I mean, it just boggles the mind. You know, as Norm Cohen said like 20 years ago in this video that went out on PBS, I mean, we've been to the moon, and yet we're still doing this thing, and it's even more true now. We're still doing it. So let me tell you what happened when my son was born.
Okay.
I was really trying to be chill and downplay my activism. I was not going to go in as Mr. Activist into talk to the nurse about my son being born. The nurse kept asking me, do you want him to be circumcised? I kept saying no. I can absolutely guarantee you if I had said yes once, they would have done it and not asked me again. So I said no about 5 times. And after the 5th question, I said very mildly, you do realize there's no medical reason for this, right? And she quite chirpily said, oh, yes, I know. And I said, well, then, what are you asking me? And she said, oh, because the parents want it. But there's no other procedure that we do based on parental request without medical need. The whole thing is crazy.
But they make up lies. They say it's more sanitary or, it's more healthy when you get circumcised, right? And that's actually not true.
It's totally not true. I mean, look, any body part needs hygiene. Cut off your left arm. You don't have to clean your left underarm. It's cleaner. It's healthier. Why don't people cut off their left arm? I don't understand. Your left arm is not needed. If you're right-handed, you do not need your left arm. Cut it off today. Everybody in this audience, cut your left arm off today to be safe and clean. Do it now.
It's so silly.
It's so laughable, and you get it, and a lot of people get it, and some people don't get it, and that's okay. I mean, when I first heard about this issue, I thought it was pretty weird, honestly, but the more you learn, the more you realize, well, there is something to it, and why don't we let children decide?
Well, I'm sure it's a lot more painful at 18 as an adult, than when you're, when your child probably would be scarier. I might say that they missed their window at 18, but hey, at least they give their choice.
Well, actually, studies show that it's more painful for infants than it is when you do it older.
Oh, really?
And the only difference is the kids don't remember, and people use that to excuse it, but that's not an excuse. I mean, why does whether you remember it or not, you still shouldn't be doing it, whether the child remembers it or not.
Right, and the first moments when a child is born, to see it like screaming in utter pain like that, I imagine that can't be good spiritually. I imagine it retains some sort of spiritual memory. I don't know how much on the energetic field. There's got to be some traumatic effect that plays in a child's memory, that whether he consciously remembers it or not, that's still like the first moments of life. He's screaming in utter pain. That doesn't feel good on a deep spiritual level to me.
Absolutely, you've said it very well. And let me just say one more thing, because there are other topics we want to address. I know, and I'm going to do my best to tie them all together. And I'm sure with you, DeAnna, I'm sure we can do that. But the one more thing that I want to say is, I know from very close personal experience, let me just say, that there are children who are intact, which is the word we use for not circumcised, who are quite full and complete members of religious communities, Jewish and Islamic communities. There's been no issue. The rabbi has not been asking to look at their penis when they come into worship. They've had bar and bat mitzvahs. I mean, it's not an issue, and rabbis have even spoken to it not being an issue, even in the Orthodox community.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that I'm not Jewish, I'm not Jewish and I'm not Islamic, and I think those communities have to make the decisions for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people who aren't Jewish or Islamic can lose sight of the big picture. So that's all I have to say about that.
That's great. Thank you, and I really, really appreciate your work.
Thank you. So now we want to talk about something else, which is your book, which I read in 2 days.
You read my book in 2 days.
Well, I was in London on the plane home,
Yeah.
and I've reviewed about 200 books on masculinity and gender, various aspects of that in the past 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I can remember, your book is pretty unique. I mean, it's even not even that common to read books these days that are just basically positive and basically cheerleading for something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's considered unfashionable. It's sort of the same with films. Film critics really rave about movies that are just positive and about some awesome person who had an amazing life.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little sad. I mean, and I think people maybe are dispirited, a lot of people. I mean, so I read your book. I think it's very inspiring.
Thank you.
I agree with your message. I think you had a lot of good points.
It wasn't all positive, though. The first half was actually kind of dark, right?
That's true. Do you want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, my actual fear, my worry was that it would be too dark, because the first half is the road to how we got to this crisis that we're at right now. What I call the romance apocalypse, which is men and women just on, kind of opposite sides as enemies, and no one's connecting, no one's wanting relationships or marriages anymore. How we got there, the kind of overall Marxist agenda, and, the sexual revolution, feminism, and all these kind of darker forces that all kind of created the perfect storm to how we got here. The war on men and masculinity, and porn, right? And people just slowly drifting apart and not committing. That first half tends to bring, I've heard, a lot of tears to people, and a lot of sadness, and a lot of uncomfortable emotions. And I was worried that it would be too heavy or too dark. But I'm glad to hear you say that the second half of the book is a lot, it's inspiring and it's positive, because that was my true intention.
Right. Well, it's interesting to hear you say that. I guess I have a pretty positive view on things, because I did read that first half first, but I saw it as an overall positive book.
Good.
And so I went to London also representing the National Coalition for Men, which is a generalist men's organization in the U.S., the leading one. Mm-hmm. And we've been going at it for more than 40 years. And so I went in that status, and your book really exemplifies a lot of the reason why I'm in NCFM, and I think your take on things is just so aligned with us and what we hope to do, and also with the London conference, which I know you've talked about. But I feel like, life is hard. There is difficulty, and men and women do have an embattled relationship these days, and that's true. And it's based on misunderstanding, and it's based on everybody sort of being in their corner, and it's honestly partly based on politics and on this. And what I feel is really sad, and I said this in the first question I asked in one of the early presentations at the conference. What I feel is really sad is people live their lives, and I believe that people do the best they can, and we're limited by laws, and we're limited by the forces in society. So people come in and they have these ideas in their head that I feel like feminism is so far from reality and the truth, but it's pervaded to such an extent that it really affects people's views, and it makes it hard for men and women to get close, because there's all these fears about, she's going to take advantage of me, or he's going to take advantage of me. And they're not crazy fears. I mean, they're definitely fears that have happened in the world for sure. Mm-hmm. But the world is a mix of good and bad. I mean, and let me just tell a little bit of my story, because I think it's relevant. Yes. I mean, I have 2 kids, age 16 and 13, and I just got married on Saturday. I went to London the week before my wedding, and then came back and had a wedding on Saturday, which was beautiful, amazing. My kids, my son played trumpet, and my daughter sang beautifully, and they both volunteered to do that, and people were weeping. I mean, people were so moved by it. I did this crazy break dance at age 58, because my knees are still in good shape. Yes. And anyway, it was just a beautiful event. But how did I get there? I mean, there's a number of answers to that. One one answer is I dated 45 or so women, which was not my goal. My goal was not to amass a big number. The mother of the kids decided that she didn't want to be together anymore, so that was the beginning of the story. And then I started on a quest to find my life partner, and I had a lot of crazy experiences, and I think they were completely representative and completely fit in with your book. I mean, I had women who would go out with me, and they would text me or email me like, "Wow, you're so awesome, you're so charming. That was the best first date I've ever been on in my life." And then they never wanted to go out again.
Right? It's like the weirdest thing. Right?
Were they lying? I mean, like there was this
so
one woman I went out with like 30 years ago, and she told me later, like, "Oh, I didn't go out with you again because I was scared because the first date went too well." And I'm not trying to misrepresent here, too. There were definitely women who didn't like me. I'm not trying to play myself up as some great guy. I had a whole mix of experiences, very strange. But the thing about it was it was tiring. It was dispiriting. I mean, it was, the 45 that I went out with, you can imagine that I contacted a lot more online, and it's a big process. And so it can be emotionally tiring.
Very frustrating.
It can be exhausting. And so I was able to keep in my vision the idea that there was somebody out there.
Good.
Basically keep in mind DeAnna's book, which I hadn't read yet and possibly didn't exist yet, didn't exist yet. And eventually, by being persistent, I went online, I went out with 45 women, 44 of whom I met online. There's only one that I didn't meet online, who happens to be somebody who knows DeAnna. But funnily enough. But anyway, and then I was trying to get this woman I was going out with online to go to me to this film that was being shown about my work that I've talked about, the Red Pill movie, and she didn't want to go. She was busy. We'd gone out 2 nights in a row, and she wanted to take a night off, which I totally understand. So I went by myself, and I met the love of my life in person when I wasn't expecting to. I went to the movie because I was in the movie, and I was in the question and answer afterwards, and she came up to me, and we hit it off, and that was it. I came home that night and said to my roommate, "I'm done. I've met my beloved. This is it. I don't have to go out with anybody more. I'm so happy."
You just felt it that first night, right?
Yeah. And 16 months later, we got married. 17 months later, I guess it was.
And congratulations. You just had a wedding on Saturday, so that's just like, you're a newlywed now.
I'm a newlywed. We had a one-day honeymoon. So my grandfather 90 years ago got a job at the Palace Hotel in San Francisco, just walked in, came here from Oklahoma on a Model T chassis because they couldn't afford a Model T, which crashed, and they hitchhiked, and they got to San Francisco, and he walked into the Palace Hotel and got a job as a busboy. So 90 years later, we stayed at the Palace Hotel, which is very expensive, but very nice, and had a one-day honeymoon. We're going to have a longer one in the Maldives next year. But,
good.
But yeah, it's great. I mean, every day is better than the best day before I met her. We're such great partners. We even have a lot of conflict in our lives right now, but we just managed to get through it in a way that is amazing. And I really think men and women people don't realize like what gold there is. I mean, I'm sure DeAnna knows this famous saying somebody said about how amazing it is when you really have good love, but it's really remarkable. It's better than my dreams. It really is.
Wow.
It really is better than I dreamed of. And when
that
happens,
enhances your
really
life,
great.
right?
Yeah. So people should. I would like to inspire other people to. Not everybody wants a partner necessarily, but those who do, really inspire you to just be persistent and believe, because it's not easy, but it can be done. And DeAnna talks about a lot of the barriers to why it's not easy these days.
Thank you, because there are a lot of MGTOWers and a lot of guys in my community too that are just so skeptical. They've been through that same ringer that you've been through, and I've been through too. No one's safe from it. I'm a dating and relationship expert, and I'm not even safe from it. No one's safe from it these days. You still, there's just weirdos right now, and we've lost our values. The culture is a big part of the problem. So you can be the best looking, best person out there with the best set of skills, but still people are just, a lot of them are strange these days, and they don't want to commit, or they commit and then they get scared and all these weird things. So, but when you can be persistent and you actually get that one, all it takes is one great love, one great person, and everything else just stops mattering. And it really does, I think, and it just really enhances your life. And you don't worry so much about, oh, is this person going to take advantage of me? Or, I'm sacrificing so much by giving. By giving, you receive. You know, a lot of people have this conflated mentality that giving is a bad thing these days, or you give and that means sacrifice. It's very strange and sad. Instead of this giving magnanimously, which is what we used to be, like just giving and loving and knowing that men and women complement each other and we both give so much back that you don't see it as giving like sacrifice. You see it as giving, but you're getting so much back.
Yeah, exactly. It's a totally different mentality. It's not this mentality of, oh, I have to.
Like
and I've seen people with lists of like 30 things that they want in a partner, and hey, I had things I wanted in a partner too, and I just think, how do I say it? Like, there's nothing wrong with knowing that there are certain things you need in a partner. At the same time, if you go into it with a laundry list, you're sort of setting yourself up for failure because you're looking at characteristics and not at a human being. I mean, okay, here's one thing really good for me to say. Gina and I each had qualities that were complete deal breakers on our list of what we wanted in another partner.
Really?
I was still married. I was completely separated, but I was still legally married. The process wasn't terminated yet. It finished about 3 months after we met. And I wasn't able to have kids, and she wanted to have a kid. And her deal breaker for me was that she wanted to have kids, and I'd gone through a process where I decided that I wasn't going to do that anymore. Well, but since we met in person, we were able to make the decision to try things and to work these things out, and we did work these things out, and we found a solution despite an apparent irresolvable conflict.
Wow.
And we would not have done that if we'd met online. It was only in person, and we both had to have the faith that this could be figured out. So I think there's a lot of mythology, as there also is with the circumcision issue, and things that keep us from thinking and from being whole people who can work things out for ourselves.
Yeah. I love that. That a lot of times we do need to kind of throw the list out the window and go with faith and go with a feeling, because feeling sometimes it overrides logic. And I've been in relationships before too where it seems like there's these conflicts or maybe certain things are not there on paper, but I just feel like this could work. You know, it's a feeling, and sometimes you have to really trust, I think, that feeling. I agree.
And it's not just for relationships; it's for every aspect of life. Like, I don't know. I speak for myself. The more that I trust my own wisdom, and the more that I stop doubting myself and nitpicking myself, the happier I am, and the more successful I am.
I love that. I think that's fantastic wisdom for every situation.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for shedding some hope and excitement and some life with our viewers. I'm sure they're really appreciative of it, because I really like spreading messages of positivity in this world of darkness, and know that even people who are skeptical, you can get love, and love can really enhance your life. It really is a game changer. Life is kind of dull without love.
It enriches life so much, and I had a rich life already, but it enriches life so much. And I just want to say, I mean, your book's great, and I'm probably a lot of the audience has already read it, but for those who haven't, I really encourage you to read it, because we need more messages like this, and you know, life is short, and having a partner just incredibly enriches things if you're someone who wants a partner, which a lot of us do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the review, and thank you so much for being on my show. We're going to have you back for sure.
Oh, great. That'd be great. I'd love to come back. Yeah, there's a whole other topics we haven't even delved into.
I know. Yeah. You're a man of many topics and facets. How can people find you if they want to find you or connect with you?
The website of my organization is arclaw.org, arclaw.org. There's an email there, and also at the other organization, which is ncfm.org, National Coalition for Men.org, either of those. And you might want to look at the organizations anyway and just see what you think. I mean, neither of them is politically liberal nor conservative. We welcome all comers, and I actually value the diversity that we have.
Okay, great. Well, I will be flashing your website and your Twitter handle. You have a Twitter handle?
We're just developing that, yes.
Okay.
I have the liability that I'm 58 years old, but we're just developing that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just let me know, and then I'll
get that to you.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having us on, or for coming on, and cheers to you and your wife.
Thank you. Cheers to you.
Too. I'll talk to you soon, okay? We'll be in touch.
Great. Take care.
All right, bye. Let's go out of the interview room. We're back. So, cool guy, right? Yeah, we hung out at the men's conference in London last week. Had a great time. Got to know some wonderful people, and he's one of them. So, guys, you heard it. Love happens sometimes when you least expect it, but never give up. This is why MGTOW is so sad to me, because you're completely giving up. Don't give up. Don't call yourself a MGTOW, because that's just waving your own white flag. Silly. It's like retiring your penis, you know? Don't retire your penis. Don't. There's a woman out there who's going to love it. Don't retire your balls. There's a girl out there that's going to love them. Don't retire your heart, because there's a girl out there that's just going to want to love it and appreciate it. All it takes is one. And believe me, even when you go through years of looking and horrible dates, etc., and then you just meet one that clicks, everything just moves quickly. Everything moves forward quickly. Everything progresses, and it becomes easy, and it is a game changer. So don't give up. Just keep your heart open, but also keep yourself busy. Like what my book says, doesn't mean just because you want to make love great again and you have that hope and goal for yourself, it doesn't mean that you stop focusing on you. Just have that as a goal. Keep your heart open a sliver, and then keep yourself busy doing things that also make up your badass life. Go do things that you love. Go skydiving. Go learn a new skill. Go on trips. Keep your life full and busy with friends and things that you love doing, because you are going to meet women when you're doing what you love. And when you're feeling in love with yourself and with your life, it radiates, it magnetizes women to you. And what Darren Diogi said the other day, the Scottish guy, you are, as a man, you are in charge of your own charge. And if you don't take charge of your own charge, it goes out. It extinguishes it. It's not live. It's just like this lifeless nothing inside of you that like needs to be charged. When you have a computer, you need to charge it. If you don't charge it, it dies. If you don't charge your own charge, it dies. And women can't find you, and they can't gravitate towards you if you're lifeless inside and you don't take charge of your own charge. So keep your own charge charged as a man. Do badass things with your life. Keep your heart open a little bit for finding great love. And your great love is going to happen. And then follow the principles of making love great again, by the way. Whoops. Because there are some really awesome principles for men, specifically for men, for making love great again and for winning at relationships with women. And if you follow these practices, I can almost guarantee you that within a year, you will find an incredible woman. And for a woman, you will find an incredible man. You'll find an incredible partner. It is a real thing, the law of attraction, Jeff. Yes, it's a really big thing. You guys just got to stay positive. And if you have any questions, contact me. Schedule a mock date with me. Schedule a coaching session with me. Please, guys, don't be shy. Schedule me. Go to my website at DeAnnaLorraine.com and set up a free coaching session with me, or free consultation to set up your coaching, and I'll work through it with you. I'll figure out what is missing in your game, what's missing in your physical appearance, what's missing in your personality, your energy, your masculinity, body language, everything. There's so many little nuances that I discuss that when we just adjust those nuances, all of a sudden it's a game changer. All of a sudden you start attracting more women, and women respond better to you, and you start attracting more women. And for women, you start attracting more men. So schedule a mock date with me over Skype. It's going to be great. I help so many people every day with this. Or if you want to revive your relationship with an ex or a girl that somehow got away that you really love, then make sure you also schedule a Get Your Girl Back coaching program with me. That's one of my favorite coaching programs to do, because I love winning and I like getting results, and getting your girl back is one of the fastest ways that I get results with my clients.